Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gaming with me, Tony Mo, and we're doing something kind of out of the ordinary. Let's be honest, I make a lot of content on this channel. Like, everything I make is considered actual content. It has content within it, and you watch it usually to gain some piece of information, whether it's knowledge about a game and how good it is, or maybe a guide on a specific element of a game, or even, you know, something like a small Let's Play episode, which is probably the most content that I do. And sometimes, especially when things are about to get really crazy, or they already have been crazy regarding the channel, and even sometimes just life, you know, I just want to, like, boot up a game, and I just kind of want to sit here and just talk, and just, like, take in the atmosphere of the game. I did this yesterday with The Witcher 3, actually, for about 2 hours. After I was already playing it, I've actually been trying to get my Geralt ready for the Blood and Wine expansion. I'm really hoping I can actually spend some time with that, maybe even cover it on the channel a little bit. And that game has such an incredible world, you know? You just want to kind of like sit on a mountaintop and listen to the music, listen to the sounds, and just take it in and not even engage in the world. And I was going to do Witcher for a second, you know? I thought about it, and then I was like, you know, it wouldn't be right, because Far Harbor's out. And I do plan on bringing you guys my first impressions of Far Harbor, hopefully very soon, after I actually get the opportunity to play it a little bit more. But I was like, you know what? Far Harbor's actually an amazing environment. You know, just the small town itself, you know, the dock here, is incredibly well done. Like, to me, this is one of the best things that Bethesda has ever done in terms of atmosphere. Like, I mean, just look at this area alone. You know, we've got this dense fog. We've got these sort of lanterns going here outside of the, you know, the little town entranceway. Obviously, it's all guarded and protecting the people inside. Like, dude, Far Harbor is an incredible location. And, you know, you look into the woods in the distance, and it's not just background scenery. Like, that's something you can go explore. And it's terrifying, it's spooky, it's dark, it's exciting, and it's wonderful all at once. You know, just the sound of the shore sort of splashing up, the water splashing up against the shore. You look out and you see it, you look through the dense fog, and this has to be some of the best environmental design the team at Bethesda's ever done. This tops, you know, the wintry, snow-covered, snowstorm peaks of Skyrim for me. And that's saying a lot, because I think Skyrim for me, especially when I was in the mountains, one of the most, like, environmentally enjoyable and atmospheric game experiences that I've ever had. And Far Harbor is, like, right up there now on the top of that list with The Witcher 3 and with, you know, Skyrim for me. Like, this is so incredibly well done. It blows away anything in Fallout 4 vanilla, you know, without a doubt. So like I said, I wanted to kind of just come here and just ramble for a little bit. It's actually super late. I got out of work at like 9 o'clock, and it's going on like 11:30 midnight, probably 1 o'clock by the time you guys see this, and it's done rendering and uploading and stuff. And you know, I figured the first place to start would actually be to talk about a little bit, you know, kind of, I guess, ramble a little bit about my enjoyment for environmental design and world design. I think it's something I talk about every time I do like a review or a video or like a Let's Play for any open world games. You know, I definitely did it with Fallout 4 when it first came out. You know, I talked about how important the environmental design was to me, the world design. And I think, you know, it's one of those things that, you know, obviously we should expect it to improve over time. You know, we should never become complacent and be like, oh yeah, this is good enough. I'm not saying that, but I do think that open world games and some of the worlds that we've been able to spend time in, you know, maybe we've become a little bit spoiled to the point where we don't appreciate them as much as we should. And, you know, that's why I think it's important sometimes to boot up a game like The Witcher or Fallout and kind of just sit there, you know, and just take it in. Don't worry about the next objective or the next thing you have to kill or how many of this you're supposed to collect. If you want to build that, just sit there and just take in the sounds. You know, take in the environment, look at the world design, and watch it all come together. And that's usually when you come away pleasantly surprised with some detailed element that the developers did that you were completely unaware of. Let's actually go walk down by the docks. You know, and that's usually when you end up more impressed than you initially were with the game. And I think sometimes, you know, taking that moment, you know, just pausing can help you further appreciate a game, you know, in a way that you really didn't before. I know I've done that plenty of times, and I think The Witcher 3 is a good example. It was a game that when I first picked it up, you know, obviously overwhelmed with the amount of content in that game, And, you know, that's just that's just kind of the nature of The Witcher. It is a massive game, but once you really stop and, you know, you start riding your horse through the woods, the trails, and you realize how well all of that is designed, you can't help but just be, you know, taken back by, like, how impressive it all is. And to me, that's a huge gameplay enhancer. You know, once that sort of clicks for me, and you can start to pick up on those little sound bits, you know, those little bits of environmental design, the, you know, the music, the audio, the, you know, the sound effects of the world you're in, it makes the game more special. And in a lot of ways, that's very much like real life. A lot of people go through life, you know, sort of just running past everything just kind of, you know, a blur. And, you know, that's a serious thing. You know, we talk about it as like, oh yeah, you know, I've heard about that before. Let's see if I can make this jump, or if I just fall in the water. Yeah, we'll just fall in the water with all the creepy stuff. You know, but that's true. Like, people don't, like, stop to take it in. You know, some people will probably, you know, go large portions of their life without, you know, just literally standing still one time, looking at the sky, and just kind of thinking for a second. That's something I particularly enjoy to do rather often. You know, if I come home from work late at night, I'm on the bike or something, I'll pull the bike in the garage and I'll walk out in the backyard and I'll look up at the sky and just kind of just take it in for a second. I spend a lot of time inside because of YouTube, especially in the summer. You know, the weather's finally getting warm here, and unless I'm leaving to go to work or coming home from work, I'm usually sitting at my desk working. You know, so when I do have that rare moment on the weekend, or, you know, when I get outside to, you know, to work on something with my dad like I did today, and I kind of just, like, feel the warm air for the first time, like, seriously, consider the fact, like, oh, summer's pretty much here. You know, it's a really special feeling, and I do feel that video games can capture that in some way. Like, no doubt, you know, you'll never, at least, I don't think anytime soon, you'll never be experiencing warmth or, you know, smells, those sorts of sensations, but I think a lot of games can portray those sensations through visual renderings. You know, when you look at the waterfront here, you know, even though it's a very warm day, it's warm in my room as I'm recording, you know, I could feel the sort of chill, the fog coming off the water, that crisp coldness floating across the sea here, and, you know, that smell of the fog that you get, you know, that dense sort of airy smell. Like, you know, you can imagine it if you think hard enough. I know some people aren't into that sort of thing, and that's okay, but I feel like it's one of those things, like, why not give it a try? You know, why not take the time to just pause and just kind of let things run through your brain in a way that they don't normally do. You know, try and turn off all of the filters, which normally let those things go, you know, in one side and out the other without ever making connection, and see what happens. This is seriously, dude, this is one of the best things they've done. I'm so blown away by Far Harbor from an environmental perspective right now. I actually have only done like 2 of the missions, and I've been like, whatever. I've been so caught up in just this. And it, like I said, it gets even better when you go in the woods. Maybe let's take a walk in the woods. Why not? We'll walk around a little bit. I told Nick to stay back at the docks and eat some fish tacos while we go explore a little bit. I haven't actually explored in this direction, so hopefully we don't have to deal with any wastrels looking to cause us harm. Because I just wanna check this all out. It's a super beautiful location. I know we got a red rocket over here. That's something interesting and new. So I think I'd like to do one of these every once in a while. You know, I'm not saying I'll make it a steady thing. I kind of like the idea of it being a series, but I also recognize that kind of defeats the point of making something that's supposed to be non-content. If you know what I mean, I get really caught up in making content. Oh, those are bad things in the water there, I believe. Well, let's stand here and appreciate the fact that those are bad things and they're not currently attacking us. Ah, look at this, though, you know? They've done such a good job designing the marshes and the forest, like, all the small bits and pieces that help bring a forest or a marsh to life. You know, you've got the cattails here, you know, the tall grass coming out of the water. Again, that dense fog is everywhere, and it's some of the best fog I've seen in a game in a very long time. Like, I mean, I'm playing on a console right now. This isn't the PC version. Like, I'm assuming this is some sort of volumetric fog, and it looks incredible, man. It does so much to add to the game. Let's walk our way up the hill here. But I very much want to do one of these for The Witcher 3 and kind of just ramble a little bit more. I think in the future, you know, we won't so much talk about the environments and stuff. It won't be like the goal. It'll be, you know, more so like, let's just ramble. Let's talk about anything that comes to mind. I mean, that was really the idea with this, was like, all right, Tony, let's start this up and not really have any ideas in my head. You know, I usually spend a lot of time mentally preparing for a video. So I felt it would be important, and also, you know, a testament, my personal commentary, and, you know, my ability to create commentary on the fly to say, hey, let's just go in Fallout, you know, with the basic idea that you want to respect the environment and kind of just walk around a little bit, avoid combat, and just take it all in, and then just see where that goes. And I have to say, for those of you who watch WoW Krendor, this is very much inspired by what he did recently. He's been doing some stuff like this. He's definitely one of those people, you know, who jokes about being the non-content guy, you know, just making videos. And I don't know, I applaud that because of how much time I spend making direct content. Like the amount of time I spend, you know, thinking up and drafting ideas and concepts to just be able to sometimes turn off, you know, and just let your mouth run. Which I guess in a lot of ways is what I do with those ride videos as well. But usually I like to have a topic around those to some degree. And they are a little bit more structured than they seem. I especially feel that it's important for me to have, like, you know, at least an idea of what I'm going to say. Not that I would get distracted while riding the bike, but I don't know. It's just something I've always done. Let's make our way up here. It looks like the sun's actually coming up, so that's pretty spectacular. I don't know if we're on the right side of the island to see that happen, but it looks like we are, so let's just chill right here. Fog starts to kind of clear away. I'll be honest, I haven't been in Far Harbor in daytime yet. When I came here, it was night. All of the game that I played so far has been night, so I don't actually know what this place looks like in the daytime. So this is kind of a first for you and me, guys, for all of you. And of course, if you guys have been playing Far Harbor, you know, I'd very much appreciate if you took the time to kind of really appreciate what they've done with the environments here. You guys are going to hear me talk about this on the Pipcast next week, and I'm probably not going to shut up, and I know Kato and Campbell are going to want to shoot themselves because it's just going to be me being like, I didn't even play the missions, just look at that fog. But it's just so true. It's so killing, man. And we did actually talk on the Pipcast, you know, the week before about how this is the first time we're going to see like a substantial forested area in a game. You know, basically the whole island is forest. In fact, a lot of the people who came here in both the game's lore and in the real world version of Bar Harbor, you know, were loggers. You know, they were the lumber people. Lumber people, I don't think that's the correct word. I think loggers is the right word. I don't know why I wanted to say anything else after that. Fog is just so dense still, you know, you can see the light sort of reflecting it off of it. We got some god rays coming in here. Got a small creepy shed I'm gonna assume has bad guys in it. Oh yeah, bad guys. Let's not turn this into a kill fest. It's supposed to be calm, relaxing. Perhaps you're falling asleep to this. You're getting very sleepy now. And I'm gonna pickpocket you. No, that's not what's gonna happen. I've actually become a little bit hooked on... I don't really like ASMR. If you guys don't know what that is, do a quick Google search. So I don't actually know 100% what it is, but it's the idea of being, you know, getting a sensation. I know there's a very specific location for the sensation, like in the back of your neck and whatnot, from a specific sound. Or, you know, some sort of a sensation. It could be like the crinkling of a paper bag, actually. Something as simple as that. That's not really what I think of. But there are videos that they call ASMR, which I don't know if they're accurate in that sense. It's basically like recordings of like the tavern, you know, like put on loop for like 5 hours from Lord of the Rings, you know, with like the music and just people walking around the tavern. That stuff really does it for me. I find myself like falling asleep or on the rare occasion just trying to zone out and relax, that kind of thing. And it's a twofold, right? Because it's really fantastic, you know, the idea of a fantasy world. Like, oh yeah, we've got this audio of, you know, this tavern, you know, Bilbo and all the hobbits are there and playing games and drinking, and, you know, there's a crackling fire. Like, that transportation to a different realm, a different, you know, universe is pretty fantastic. But just the sounds and, like, that, I don't know, that weird sense of comfort. I think because I was growing up as a kid, you know, I definitely spent a lot of time in cabins as a kid with, you know, fireplaces, wood-burning fireplaces. So that smell, the sound, and the fact that as a kid, you know, you'd always go to bed early, you'd usually sleep in, the adults would be up, you know, really early, having coffee and smoking cigarettes, at least in my side of the family, my dad and my aunt, my uncle and stuff. So, you know, you'd hear them softly talking, like, don't wake the kids, you know, don't wake the kids, and so on and so forth. There's something bad around here. I think we'll be okay, though. So that, you know, that idea of, like, you know, being asleep, but there's people awake and things going around you, it just does it for me. It's weird, but it totally does it for me. Damn. They killed it, man. It's just like this dense, orangey, white, you know, glow of the fog. You still got the blue, cold fog coming off the water down below, obviously filled with awful creatures, so we're not going to go down there. Also, I don't want to spoil too many of the creatures for anybody who may want that to be a surprise. Let's see if we can't make our way back up this cliffside here. Ooh. Come on. This is not relaxing. We're good. We got it. And I know that, like, I think a lot of people, you know, when you try and talk to people about something like the idea of the environment and appreciating them more, respecting, you know, trying to take it in. I wouldn't say respecting it, but just acknowledging, you know, the existence of the smaller elements in world design in video games. You know, some people may say that's like, you know, well, that's real nerdy, you know? But, you know, I'm one of those people who doesn't really care. You know, I'll talk to people who don't play video games, who might, you know, say to you, like, that type of thing. Usually, I don't keep myself in that sort of company. Even with the people I work with, you know, they're not like that. You know, no one's gonna look at me and be like, Tony, you're crazy. They might think it, but no one would ever say it to me for one reason or another. But, you know, I do have people that I've worked with who, you know, I like to talk to about that sort of thing. Be like, hey, you know, you played games at least a little bit, you know. You'd be impressed, you know, and just go on a, you know, rant with them about that idea. Like, oh, you'd be surprised what games can do in that respect, you know. And most of them get it. Like, I feel like if you're, you know, if you're open-minded enough, you can recognize the connections between, you know, the real world and taking in environments, and, you know, the idea that people in the summer will spend, you know, every single evening after work just sitting in the backyard, you know, sitting there with something cold to drink, taking in the sun, just enjoying, you know, what they would say, enjoying life, you know. So to me, it's like, you know, why, you know, who says you can't do that, you know, outside of the real world, that can't exist inside of video games without, you know, the implementation of virtual reality. Films have done it, books do it, you know, it's just all about that. Oh, God. Does it have to be a legendary ghoul? Alright, I guess we'll end it there, guys. That's enough relaxation, right? I'm gonna try and not shoot this ghoul. I wanted to not shoot anything during the length of this video, as we're running through people's backyards like a small school child, playing tag. Except there's a feral legendary ghoul chasing me, and I'm probably gonna run into something even worse. I think we're good. Okay, we're good. This is a good creepy place to end it. Let me know if you guys like this. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down. Not something I normally say, but hey, those buttons are there for a reason. Or you could personally tell me why it's not something that you enjoy. Of course, it's not like I'm going to do this all the time, so, you know, it's not the end of the world, really. There's plenty of other content on the channel. Sometimes you just need to unwind, and this was very much that for me. Look forward to some more Fallout for this weekend, guys. You know, I really want to get out the 3rd episode of the survival Adventure Time Let's Play that we're doing, but, like, everything is just getting in the way. Far Harbor, in this case, getting in the way. Doom got in the way last week, so we'll see what we can do about that. I'm not ending it. I really do want to continue it. There's no doubt about that, but I also feel that it might be important to spend some time in Far Harbor. Not to mention a few other things that I want to work on. Some World War I history stuff. In the vein of Battlefield 1, while we move forward to that game's release and possibly the beta in, who knows, maybe even the coming months for the beta. So keep an eye out. There's some awesome stuff coming, and of course, you know, potentially some more stuff like this. I think we definitely have to do something like this in The Witcher 3, because it would be blasphemy if we didn't. Share your thoughts, guys, regarding environments and just everything I managed to ramble about in this video. None of it was connected, and hopefully it made some sort of sense to you, so you can actually have an idea of what I was talking about to leave a comment in the first place. I'm gonna keep on walking down this wonderful, foggy, and dirty road, loaded with wolves, and I will see you in the next one.